I don't know about you, but when I started out in life, I knew exactly what was expected of me. A carefully crafted life script was there when I grew up, and it goes like this. First, we're born and we go to school. When we are in school, we work hard to make it to a good university. And then, when we are in a good university, we are expected to land a good and stable job, ideally in banking or consulting. And when we have landed that stable job, we are expected to get an even better job. Now, this can go on for a while, depending on your ambition level. But when we arrive in our best job, we look to retire. And when we retire, we travel a bit, we come home, we hang our hat, and we call it a life. This is the path we're given, a straight line. And for a while, that works. You graduate when you're 22, you buy your first house when you're 35, you retire when you're 64. Life as a curated set of milestones, neatly planned, structured, measurable and trackable. It gives us the feeling of control. The Greek had a god for this type of time. His name was Chronos. Chronos rules clock time. Chronos represents the constant turning of the world, the forward motion and the repeatable cycles, from day into night and the changing seasons. We know what comes next, and we know when that is supposed to arrive. It makes us feel safe and structured. And also, we plan our lives around Chronos time. But what if the script stops working? You're just planning for the next promotion when your boss tells you this is where your career ends. Or you build your business with everything that you have, and overnight it collapses by a virus or something else. Or an opportunity arises, where you may have the opportunity to move to a new city. Or a love relationship stops, and the life that you planned shatters in ways you could have never seen coming. That is not part of the script. The plan stops to exist. Time suddenly doesn't feel so plannable anymore. So now what? I know this situation well, and maybe have you ever had the thought that you knew exactly where life was going, to then only find out that you were wrong the whole time? Those are the moments I want to talk to you about today. So for 15 years, I followed the path as I was expected to follow. I did the banking and the consulting in blue chip companies, international career. It was all good, it was all fine. I knew what was coming next. I knew how to make the next promotion and that next step up. But then a feeling got to me, unexpectedly. I was happy, that was not it. But I came across a really purposeful concept. The concept was an education, and it made education more personalized, more relevant, and it made it accessible to everyone. I started to think about my career. Is this really the story that I want to keep telling my whole life? But I ignored it, because why would I change something that is good? The path that I was on was safe, comfortable. The path was everything according to the rules of Chronos Time. It was clear, it was predictable. So why would I change that? But I couldn't ignore it any longer. And after a long think, and also of course a bit of fear, I made the change. I leaped and I stopped my corporate career. I stopped it to start a campus of this radical educational concept. Now, this radical educational concept is a concept that has no teachers, no degrees, no tuition fees. And that in Germany, a country that loves its credentials, that loves its structured education, that loves its security. So you can imagine how that went. People told me, this is never going to work here. Why would you make such a change? Why would you give up a career for something like this? Why take such a risk? And for a while, I thought they were right. I actually agreed, because what did I know about education, having had a career in finance and consulting? I didn't even speak German fluently. But the idea and the deep belief that this education concept actually, although a little bit radical, held the future of learning, really made me take that leap. And most importantly, a team of people who joined me on the mission and who shared my vision. That vision of which the rest of Germany said, if you have visions, you should see a doctor. And it worked. I raised the funds for not one campus but two, and they both went live successfully in spring 2021. And I realized at that moment that I had been looking at risk the whole time the wrong way. Risk is not about leaving a job, it is about not leaving something that doesn't fit you anymore. It is about not recognizing an opportunity that is out there, but maybe not taking it just because of the simple fact it doesn't come with guarantees. And at that moment I also realized that I stepped out of Chronos Time and I stepped into Kairos Time. Now Kairos, perhaps you know, is the other god of time that the Greeks have. Kairos represents the qualitative elements of time, the critical moment, the moment that a rosebud is about to burst. Kairos time is measured not in minutes, but in moments. So, when change comes, will we resist it, or will we step into it? Now let's play a little game. I have two pairs of glasses, one blue and one red. Now let's look at change through these two lenses. And let's look at elements that are critical in times of transition. So let's start with timing. When is the right moment for change? Let's put on the blue glasses. How do we see the right moment of change? We are waiting for the perfect moment. We meticulously prepare everything, and then only when we have full certainty and all security and guarantees, then we take the leap. If we put on the red glasses, we know that timing is not about certainty. It is about recognizing the right moment and when it comes. So the right moment for change is not waiting for things to have lined up perfectly. It is about the moment that you act. Now let's look at risk. Is it safer to stay, or is it safer to move? Let's put on the blue glasses. If we put on the blue glasses, risk is something to avoid. What if I fail? What if it doesn't work out? Whereas if we look through the red glasses, we ask ourselves different questions. The questions sound like, what if I get stuck? What if I never try? So risk is not only in moving forward, risk is also in holding back. Let's look at control. What is actually in my power? Blue glasses say, if I hold on tight enough, I will not lose anything. And the red glasses say, control isn't about holding on to something. If it doesn't fit anymore, it is fear. That's not control. Control is about being adaptive and being able to respond to change in different ways when it comes about. Let's look about success. How do we measure success? The blue glasses, they say, Success is when you reach the milestones of the straight path. So that means buying a house when you're 35 or making that promotion. Whereas the red glasses say, it is not so much about arriving at a destination. It is about the learning, the evolving, the impact that you make. So success is not so much about the control that we have of arriving at a destination. It is defining the success of the stages of the change that we're going through. Lastly, identity. Who am I allowed to be? Blue glasses say, my identity is predetermined. I am who I've always been. And my identity is very closely connected to my company, my job, my role. Actually here you can read who I am on my business card. And the red glasses say, they recognize that identity is flexible, is fluid. That we are allowed to go through certain stages in life and assume and test different identities. We are not meant to be the same through our whole life. Who we are is not something that we shape. It is something that we shape. It is not something that we inherit. So what I'm saying is not that you should wear the red glasses the whole time. There are some seasons in life that are better lived with the blue glasses on. But when that moment comes, that moment when life shifts in an unexpected way, that is when you may want to try the red glasses on. Because the biggest enemy of transition is not failure. It is the illusion of control. We think we can control this path. We think we can predict the end station. But let's be real, transitions come in their own messy way. And what we can do is harness the power of perspectives. Now the good news is, you've all done it before. You've all gone through transitions and you survived because you sit here. You went from one school to the other. Maybe you went from school to working life already. And maybe you moved from your home country here to Singapore. And guess what? You survived. So that next transition, you will master that too. Transition is not about becoming someone new. It is becoming more of who we already are. So here is my invite to you. The next time life throws you in a transition, and it will, take a pause. Notice that moment and feel the uncertainty. And then ask yourself, is this an ending or could it be an opening? And that is when you put your red glasses on. That is when you step into Chronos Time. And that is also when you find the people who see what you see. Like the people I met in Germany when I set up the schools. It is so important to have people to be connected with, because connection and trust are the greatest accelerator of change. So yeah, life is not meant to be lived on the autopilot. The most defining moments are not the ones that you schedule. They're the ones that come in unexpected moments. They're the ones that demand you to see the world differently. They're the ones that ask you to take the leap. And when you do, when you embrace the unknown and trust the transition, when you walk into that next season of your life with open eyes, that is where progress lives. And that is where you come alive. Thank you.